Hi, my name is Lily Chiang, and this is my YouTube presentation for food service management. I'll be presenting on the topic of advertising and recruiting employees for food service industry jobs. Um, my presentation will be on an article I found on nationsrestaurantnews.com called Six Ways to Lose an Employee. It was posted and written by Jim Sullivan, August 17th, 2011. Jim Sullivan is a popular speaker on behalf of food service conferences. He is associated with Sullivision.com, which is basically a company that works on recruiting food service workers and training strategies for food service workers and their companies. Um, the remainder of my presentation will just be a bulleted list of the 6 different strategies that companies can use to improve the retention rates of their employees. And the first one is basically ask new hires what worked and what didn't work um, during their training process. More specifically, after orientation, just ask the employee when they still have that enthusiasm, that energy from newly being hired, what they liked and didn't like about, or what worked and didn't work about the orientation, the hiring process in general, the training process, and also just why they came to the company, and what their thoughts are on the company goals. Number 2 is to not ignore tomorrow just by hiring today. And this strategy basically means that when you're hiring employees, it's to not hire based on the needs of the company right now. Um, Also, you should, according to the article, clearly define and understand what skills and knowledge your company needs today and in the future. So this strategy more specifically touches upon in generation gaps in the workplace. So you have higher level VPs and management that are older. You have a different generational age group for the supervisors of the actual team. And companies should be aware that technology is changing in the workplace and causing changes in the market, um, the food service industry market, and to be aware of hiring needs based on those changes. Um, Number 3 is to let your employees know where they stand, good or bad. And this is a pretty straightforward strategy when it comes to maintaining retention rates. So it's quite straightforward. Just if an employee is doing something good, reinforce those good habits by letting them know that they're doing something right. And if they're doing something wrong, just kindly and directly let them know that they're doing something wrong so they won't do it again, and any bad habits can be broken right away. Number 4 is to just simply plan for turnover. The food service industry is notorious for the high turnover rates, and it's pretty much inevitable that you will have employees leave. And to just simply implement some sort of plan or line of action when that happens, and just simply be prepared for it. Number 5 is to remember to change with the times. The article is more specific in the sense that it it says change with the customers. With basically this strategy means that the customers will change, your demographic group will change, the habits of your customers will change, whatever. And with those changes, you need to make sure that those are communicated to your employees so that your employees can work accordingly to the changes or the changed habits of your customers. Um, and this article, or I'm sorry, this step, changing with the times, more specifically means stay in sync but slightly ahead of your customer. You don't want to confuse them. So don't just drastically change, um, the style of service at a restaurant, um, or whatnot, but make sure that it is relevant with the customer base. And last but not least is number 6, is to not overburden your employees with tons of rules and just make them follow a rule book or a guidebook that dictates how they should act at work, speak at work, um, respond to others at work, respond to the customers at work, etc. According to the article, in the workplace, you want to create a strong culture, a thin rule book. You want to foster an environment where the employees know the difference between wrong and right, and that you don't want them to simply look at the black and white of wrong and right in the workplace, but um, the more intuitive idea of what the workplace culture is like, and could not be so limited, basically. So again, just to reiterate, my topic was advertising and recruiting in the food service industry, and I touched upon 6 strategies from Jim Sullivan's 6 Ways to Lose an Employee. It's a sarcastic, basically it's a sarcastic way of saying 6 ways to not lose an employee. And number 1 was just simply ask new hires what worked and what didn't work during their training process, orientation, etc. Number 2 was don't just simply hire for today and ignore tomorrow. Number 3 was let your employees know where they stand, good and bad. Number 4 was to plan for turnover. Number 5 was do change with the times. And lastly, number 6 was to not play by the rules so strictly. Thank you very much, and I hope you all got something from this presentation.